Hello, hello. Come on in. Welcome. We're here. We're so excited. This is going to be so much fun today. I'm so glad you're here. Super thrilled. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I am originally from Long Island, New York, residing in South Carolina. And we're going to have some real fun discussing what it means to go from confusion to conversions. So I'm pulling up a few screens over here, making sure we're live, joining in. Want to check everything. Okay. We've got a little bit of a tech issue when it comes to a little bit of a black box, but that's okay. We're going to roll with it. We're going to roll with it. So I got my coffee in hand, my main character energy mug here. Let's see if you can spot it. Actually, it's in one of the slides coming up today. And when you do, drop the word spotted in the chat. Where's everyone tuning in from? From Long Island, like I mentioned, let me know where you're tuning in from. And then we'll get started. So welcome to Confusion to Conversions, messaging frameworks that convert for B2B. Yes, and so one quick note that I want to share with you. So these are quick hit power sessions created for founders, for marketers, go-to-market leaders who are just tired of just like posting and hoping something sticks. Do you know what I mean? Like you're just putting out so much content. You want something to land. Hi, everyone. Come on in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. People are just putting out their content and they're hoping something just like hits and sticks. And I've been there, and I want to tell you that there is a better way. There's a better way. Hi, Jacob. Hi, Tish. Welcome. Jacob's from Maryland. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. We do have like a little black box. I don't know where it's from, but we are going to roll with it. So like the slides will make up for it. I super promise. Okay. So here's the truth. And here's what I kind of want to share with you today. Everyone's talking. Everyone is publishing. Everyone's got a funnel. But if your message isn't landing, then all that effort is for nothing. It's just a bunch of noise. The book, The Next CTO, calls it random acts of marketing. And so these power sessions right here are going to be short for a reason because I know your time is tight. And also I know this, one messaging breakthrough can really help clarify your messaging so buyers know exactly where they should lean in. So if you ever wondered, have you ever wondered, like, I'm doing everything right? I'm doing all the things that I see other people are doing. I'm posting, I'm sending out emails. I'm doing all these things, but so how come I'm not getting the traction or the demand or the conversions that I really want? So if that's you, you're in the right place. And so I want to revisit this later, but I want to tell you how you can register for the replay for this at the end. I'm not sure how long this will stay on LinkedIn, but you'll have an opportunity to make sure you get this and can go back to it as well. All right, so let's keep going. So I got an email last week. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I got this email and someone had gotten this fancy editing tool and they created like a really highly published branded video, something that looks like this. And they asked me, Sherry, so what do you think of this? And I said, it looks great. And so, and I said, well, where are you planning to use it? And they said, LinkedIn. And I said, why? That's not actually what works here. And I can say that with confidence because LinkedIn asked me directly to help them launch their new video trends features. It went live March 26th. Their exact words are members are consistently saying that they want deep value, genuine conversations and relatable stories about real human experiences behind the scenes of professional life. Guys, this is LinkedIn's words. They're saying they want these deeper connections, not some branded corporate video. So I posted, so because they wanted me to help them launch this new feature, I submitted a video for them and I posted a simple video where my husband and I were hanging up these sound panels. You can probably see them right over my shoulder here. We were hanging up these panels and I had my main character energy mug, and that video did over 1 million impressions, currently past 80,000 video views. And it's not bad for top of funnel awareness content where that percentage of people can come check out my profile, learn about what I do and who I serve. So the lesson here is your content does not have to be fancy, but it needs to be human. Okay. So we all want our content to really land. We've got traffic, campaigns, and high quality assets, but sometimes it just doesn't convert the way we want. And most teams don't have a traffic problem, they have a translation problem. Okay, so you might be doing everything right on paper, but your message is still getting lost in the void. And data backs that up. 44% of marketing leaders say that their messages fail to meet all of their audience's needs. And this is by Forrester. And they also say that 37% say inconsistent messaging actively confuses buyers. Yeah. So, welcome, Troy. How's it going? So, that's where we are here today because your message shouldn't just sound smart. It should drive real action. If you agree with that, drop an emoji. Let me know like this makes a lot of sense. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to make that shift. Okay, so messaging, this is the messaging trap. Sound good, converts nothing. It sounds good, but it doesn't do its job. It doesn't convert. So most of the messaging I see, like they're fine. They're okay on the surface. But it's a little flat. It doesn't move the needle because it doesn't move people. Okay, you're talking to the people. You have to understand the psychology of how they're moving, how they like to consume content, and how they think about the situations and the problems that you can solve. Right. So let me know in the comments, like what else is coming up for you? Right. They're saying all the right things in all the wrong ways. Have you guys seen this? Headlines and opening statements that could be copied and pasted in any other website. So let me show you what to do instead and how a few simple shifts can kind of turn confusing copy to messaging that sticks. Okay, so if this is resonating at all, we'll drop a waitlist link. And so there's a full training that really goes deep here, that it goes beyond the extent of this particular training. And so I'd love to kind of help you tailor this and really tie this to systems for that bigger training. But let's keep going. So I got on a call with a founder recently and asked what they do. And here is what they said. We are revolutionizing cross-platform enablement for modern enterprises. Okay, I blinked twice because that can mean anything. It's just completely like, what does that mean? And so the problem is that most messaging is either too broad, too jargon heavy, too complicated, or company centric. It's so much about them. Let me tell you about my announcement. Okay, let me tell you about my mission. But what about the thing that people are that's keeping people up at night? Okay, so it doesn't matter. We need to meet the buyer where they are, and we need to understand how to really communicate with them. It doesn't say, this is what we do. It says, this is what we solve. And it doesn't say we're excited about this. It says, here's how I can help you. So let me give you an example. A founder client I work with spent 3 weeks rewriting their homepage headline. Still no conversions. And I asked, what actually made your last few customers buy? And they paused. And they said they weren't sure. That right there, because they're writing all these things that they wanted to say, but not what the buyer needed to hear. So if your message could be copied and pasted onto 5 different competitor websites, you don't have messaging, you have mush. And so I was recently a panelist on the Exit 5 email roast, and one email in particular stood out. It was from a company in the broadcast industry. And the subject line was decent, but when I read it, the first paragraph, my immediate thought was this could be literally any B2B company in any industry. And I felt kind of sad because they actually communicated that they wanted to be like the go-to specialized standout broadcast company, but their messaging did not match their intent. So it was filled with phrases like advanced workflows, emerging technologies, and aside from the word broadcast, there was nothing anchoring them to their audience. They told us what they wanted to feel like. They wanted to feel like an exclusive membership, like very like niche, but nothing about this copy was niche. And if you want to be the most trusted or sought after brand in your space, your messaging has to sound like your goal. So it should feel like something that no one else could say. not something that I could copy and paste into 10 other emails without missing a beat. Does that make sense? Yeah. So to stand out, you really need what I call this relatable to remarkable ladder. It's my go-to process for helping teams craft messaging that converts. So let's go from left to right. Step one, speak their struggle. And feel free to take some notes here. Speak their struggle. Don't lead with your product or a decade of your experience. How many of you guys start webinars like that? I have 10 years of experience nobody cares. Start out with the pain. Okay. And instead, we're built for rapid deployment. If you're tired of waiting 6 weeks for implementation, those are the things that you want to say. Reframe it as solvable. Let them know that it is possible. So move from pain to possibility. Like finally a way to move fast without risking compliance. Oh, okay. Show me the way. We'll keep going. Reveal your unique POV. This is huge. We talked a little bit about this before, where LinkedIn is pushing thought leadership, connection, behind the scenes, your story. So you need to bring this into your marketing. Why do you solve this differently? For example, legacy platforms expect you to adapt to their model, but ours will flex to yours. Here's how we're different. Moving on, we're going to invite them to think differently. We're going to give them a reframe in how their belief system. So this is where your story works really good. So share a time or a key point that came to life. And this is where the magic is, because this is what they'll remember, that story. And then finally, drop a CTA that speaks to them and not at them. So instead of saying book a demo, say, see what it feels like to finally have a messaging strategy that converts. Notice I'm using the word feels because we buy based on emotion and then we later justify using logic. All right, so if you want something more actionable, here you go. So I use this 3P framework for my messaging makeover. Number one, the pain, the promise, and then the personality. The pain. What tension are they living in? What's keeping them up at night? The promise. What future are they trying to move toward? Personality. How do you say it in your voice? That's how you build content that connects before the rep even gets on a call. All right. So I used to obsess over sounding really credible and qualified and polished. It's true. I'll admit. No one converts because you sound sophisticated. They convert because you sound like you get them. So someone might need to write that down. Drop a aha in the chat if you needed that today. Here's what one founder said after just 1 week of working together. Your first run at copy for someone who was brand new to our company was extraordinarily good. And I got really excited because we've had a few painful experiences. This stuff is exciting when you can do it right. And the story doesn't stop there. Just 4 weeks later of bringing me in to help them drive demand, they said this: 10 demos between yesterday and today alone, many of which I think will convert. Demand gen is finally paying off. So now you can see the connection between your messaging and how we drive demand. Messaging that sells drives demos. It doesn't come from a slogan. It comes from clarity, conviction, and relevance. So today you learned about the biggest messaging mistakes, saying all the right things in all the wrong ways, writing messaging that's too broad or too jargony, too company-centric, and using copy that can be swapped into any competitor's website or system. You learned how to apply the relatable and the remarkable ladder to speak to their struggle and reframe the situation using your unique point of view. And you learned about the 3P framework: the pain, the promise, and the personality. Or the pain, the possibilities, and the personality, to turn messaging into a true conversion asset. But even the best messaging won't convert if there's no system to activate it. All right, so that's exactly what we're going to cover in my full training, turning signals into pipeline without rebuilding your funnel. That's where we move from beyond the messaging, what you learned here today, and put them into systems, signals, and workflows so that you can consistently turn clarity into conversions. So if today's session sparks something for you and you're ready to go deeper, then definitely scan that QR code on your screen right now using your camera app, and that will put you on the wait list where you can get those early access full trainings, live Q&A with me, and those behind the scenes strategies that continue to build on what we're learning here today. It's no fluff, it's real frameworks. It's something that you can plug into what you're doing, and each system builds on itself, and each training will build on itself. And yes, joining the waitlist definitely gets you other resources like our messaging templates, behavioral science, which is so important these days, especially in the era of AI. And I'd love to see you on that list. So let's turn clarity into actual pipeline without rebuilding your whole funnel. And I hope this power session worked really well and gave you some good tips that you can implement right away. Join us next week for our next power session. Thank you all, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.